Assalamualaikum. Welcome to Member Spotlight by Anad Muslim Chamber of Business. MCOB is a membership-based social enterprise with a mission to create a thriving Muslim business community. It's the power of collective wisdom, continued learning, and thought leadership brought together for Muslims by Muslims. Our core belief is that business leaders thrive when they have access to a supportive community of peers who challenge and inspire each other. Today, we have with us our member, Malik Khan. Malik is a seasoned entrepreneur and executive with more than 2 decades of experience building and scaling high performing businesses. Having successfully led companies across multiple industries, Malik has first-hand insight into the challenges of growth and the tools required to overcome them. Welcome, Malik.
Thank you, Kashif. I appreciate it. Yeah, glad to be here.
All right, thank you for being here. Share with us about your journey, how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, thank you for asking. I certainly appreciate it. So it's been a long journey. I migrated to this country when I was 12 years old. Obviously, wide-eyed, looking at various different opportunities that existed into the new culture, into, the new, basically the demographics, the geographics, and everything else that comes along with it.
Mhm.
And obviously, to being where I am, 42 years later, it's been a wonderful journey, is what it is. And as you mentioned, I've got various different backgrounds from that standpoint of working for various different organizations, but also, at heart, I've always been an entrepreneur, as most of us are. So, as such, what I do is, I'm a certified EOS implementer and entrepreneur, and I help leadership teams clarify their vision, Kashif, help them gain traction through instilling discipline and accountability and build healthier, cohesive organizations, is what I do. And prior to the EOS, I built and led multiple businesses as well, which, in essence, gives me a very deep empathy for founders, navigating growth and complexity, right? So my journey to this work, has been literally shaped by, the passion of helping others, is what it is. I remember a quote by Stephen Covey that I read a long time ago when I was starting my journey into the workforce, and that is, help enough people get what they want. Eventually, you'll be able to get what you want, right? It kind of continues to resonate with me. So,
Yeah. No, that's good. And as I remember, you had two exits before you got into US.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
You had two exits before you got into US. So, anything to share from that perspective, the industries that you worked with and or the companies that you led?
Yeah, so one of the organizations that I led was Lowe's. With Lowe's, I was a regional sales director there, responsible for 131 stores. Everything that had to do with installation from, the cradle to grave, as we say, that consisted of, whether it's windows, doors, carpeting, cabinets, and so forth. So it was a wonderful opportunity for me to be a part of an organization, that everyone recognized from that standpoint as well. But yet at the same time, came along the opportunities that exist within organizations, right? As far as the collaboration and the interdependencies with various different organizations and so forth. And then after leaving that, I decided to figure out what do I want to do when I grow up, kind of a thing. And upon my search and research, came across EOS, which stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System, is what it stands for. And it kept resonating with me just because of the simplicity of it, but yet at the same time, what it can do for the individuals. I actually had the privilege and the honor of, running an organization on EOS prior to doing this myself. So I do understand firsthand what it takes on the back end to be able to execute EOS as well, to be able to scale a business. So I've
So,
got that
share with
perspective.
us a little bit more about what is EOS. What does it do?
Yeah, absolutely. So what EOS is basically, when you think about EOS, as I mentioned to you, it's an agnostic system. It's a simple operating system, is what it is, right?
Mhm.
And it does three things. When we try to work with organization, we do three things. From the first perspective, it's the vision. The vision is all about making sure that there's clarity with the business owners and the leadership teams that I work with, and also alignment. Alignment is extremely important from that standpoint. So ensuring that there's clarity and alignment within the organization,
Mhm.
leadership teams to help them get where they want to, right? That's the vision component. And then from there, once we've defined and identified the vision, it's all about, gaining traction. And how we do that is, instilling discipline and accountability throughout the organization so everyone is working towards that vision and contributing towards that. And the last part is something that a lot of the organizations struggle with, and that's the healthy component of a business, right? When we think about healthy, it's all the individuals that comprise of the organization. So what we try to do is we try to build a healthy, cohesive, functional team where they do have the ability to be open and honest with each other to help them achieve their goals. And Kashif, as you're aware, as goes the leadership team, so goes the rest of the organization.
Right.
So that's how we help the organizations that we work with. So
Okay. Are there any stories that you can share where you implemented EOS and that made the difference in how organization was working and how they got on the growth trajectory?
yeah, so one of the organizations that I recently worked with. um, again, when you think about companies clarifying the vision, when we first met together, for example, one of the organizations that I met with is Entrepreneurial. I've been working with them for about a couple of years. They're a nonprofit organization,
Mhm.
right? And they do great job from the standpoint of helping the local community. With the entrepreneurship, everyone that wanting to be in entrepreneurship, and working with the organization there along with Brian Jenkins, what we were able to do is, first of all, what we were able to do is, again, the biggest thing that we try to do is make sure that there's clear vision of what the organization looks like, you know, 10 years from now. What does that look like 3 short years from now? And then we start to really break it down into a 1 year plan and then start living in a 90-day world to be able to help achieve that vision. So that's what we are doing. And we're two years into the journey, and they're doing a great job with that part of it. But also it's to, rebuild the leadership accountability part of it. So what we do is we make sure that we have clarity on, with the leadership team on who is doing what. So we clearly define 3 to 5 roles for the organization to help them strengthen the perspective of, okay, who's going to be responsible for what to help us achieve that. So they were able to do that. And then obviously the last part that I mentioned to you is ensuring that the team is working cohesively, right? Because oftentimes, even when you look back as a child, we're often asked as a child not to say something bad about someone, right? Or, hey, if you don't have anything good to say about something, don't say it at all. But in essence, what we need to do is, I try to retrain that and look at it from a different perspective. And that is, everything that we do or say is for the greater good of the organization, is what it is. So, from that standpoint, what I ask the teams that I work with, specifically, as I mentioned to you, I'm working with Entrepreneurial for the last 2 years, is to ensure that that they're sharing whatever is on their mind, is what it is, right? That they're able to offer feedback, based on the type of work that we're doing as well. So I don't want them to be, I don't want them to politicize anything, right? Politicize is making sure that you're trying to control the narrative by asking specific questions to get to a certain answer. I just want it to be just an open and honest conversation when I work with teams, so that that way we can help the greater good of the organization from that standpoint. They've been able to increase their revenue as well as their operating income from that disciplines that I've taught. So that's an
Okay.
example of that.
What size organizations EOS is suitable for?
Yeah. So the ideal target market is anywhere from 10 to 250. individuals in an organization is what it is, Kashif. But of course, I've got clients that are smaller than that, and I've got clients that are larger than that as well. The importance of that is, so when I look at it from the examples of the target market, right? From a demographic standpoint, we work with organizations throughout the United States. Obviously, I mentioned to you, the demographics of it, but from a psychographic perspective, it's extremely important for me as well that the clients that we work with are, open and honest with each other, that they are growth minded, that they're not stuck in the status quo as well, because that, in essence, is what allows us to help an organization when they're receptive to getting better and looking to make the changes that are needed. Obviously, change is never an easy thing for anyone, right? Because when you actually look at the definition of change, it's the process of becoming different, is what it is. And no one wants to be different, obviously, but yet at the same time, we need to be, in order for us to be able to make the progression that we need as individuals as well as organizations as well. So
Okay, all right. No, that's pretty good and exciting.
yeah.
We all need, as now we know that for mostly entrepreneur-run organizations, they don't have the structure. So EOS provides that is structure, I believe.
Yeah, it does provide a structure. And to kind of give you a high level perspective, most organizations struggle, right, with various different issues. And what we try to do is we try to strengthen 6 key components of their business, is what it is. It starts with the vision component, and vision is all about where the organization is going and how they're going to get there. The next key component that we try to strengthen, where majority of the opportunities lie, is the people component. And when we say people, it's ensuring that we have the right person in the right seat, is what it is. And then the third key component that we work with is the data component. And the data is all about ensuring, that you are working on what success looks like for the team on a weekly basis, as well as what a success look like for an individual. So this is not where it's subjective or opinionated, right? This actually gives you the framework that you need to be able to help an individual and organization by looking at the scorecard and seeing, hey, are we trending in the right direction or are we not trending in the right direction? So that's the data. And what happens is once we strengthen the vision, the people, and the data component, all the issues start rising up. So we teach a tool and a discipline called IDS, which is identifying, discussing, and solving, to help an organization overcome the issues so they don't deal with it again and again, is what it is. I call it, making a better organization and making better human beings, is because imagine the ability to, because oftentimes what happens is as leaders, we become the bottleneck. Kashif, is what it is. And by teaching, IDS, what it allows them to do is it allows them to identify, discuss, and solve the issues, which then allows them to make, the progression that they need. The next component is it's processes, right? When you think about processes, there's got to be some consistency when it comes to that. So what we do is we identify that only just a handful of processes is what it is, and we document them, simplify them, and to ensure that we're getting the 20/80 rule, which is we're documenting 20% of the processes steps, so that way we can generate the 80% results. So the way that I look at it is, we're building highways, is what it is, not necessarily the side roads or the dirt roads when it comes to the processes. And the last is all about traction. Gino Wickman said it best: vision without traction is hallucination, as he says it. So, traction is all about gaining momentum, is what it is, ensuring that you've got discipline throughout the organization on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. But most importantly, we start living in a 90-day world, which we call the rocks, which is making sure that we're staying focused on achieving 3 to 7 priorities every 90 days to help the organization move forward, as well as the individuals as well. So those are the 6 key components that we look to strengthen for an organization, is what it is.
All right, sounds good. Any advice you would have for your fellow entrepreneurs?
When it comes to, gosh, giving advice to organizations, it's a very situational, is what it is, right? Depending on where they are and as far as the journey goes. But one thing that I would recommend is, oftentimes we're resistant to getting the help that we need because we feel that, hey, we're doing everything that we possibly can, and we feel like we're in a good situation, right? But more often than not, regardless of what and where you are in the journey, you will come across a point where you will hit a ceiling, right? As an organization, you will also hit a ceiling as a department, and you will also hit a ceiling as an individual. And what we do is at EOS is we help you overcome those things when you do hit those ceilings, whether it's an organization level, right, department level, by teaching you the tools and disciplines to be able to overcome that, is what it is. Because no organization has a linear growth path, right? There's always evolution and revolution that comes along with it, and that's what we help the clients with as well. So.
All right. Thank you so much, Malik, for sharing your wisdom and sharing about what you do. I hope our members learn from it and learn more about you, about the company that you are running and the services that you are providing. And thank you for being part of MCOP.
Thank you. I'm excited to connect with the fellow Muslim business owners, obviously. And thank you, Kausha, for building such a great organization there at AMCOP. So look forward to, the future collaboration.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Solid.
Welcome.